The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us once again. It is Wednesday here at FRC Media, and every Wednesday we have the opportunity for a few minutes to speak with Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us from Government Center. Mayor, how are you this morning?
Doing okay, Keith. How about you guys?
We're doing very well. Coming off the high of the launch of South Coast Rail on Monday, I want to ask you some specific questions, but, what was going through your head that day? It was it was a gray day, rainy day, but you couldn't temper the enthusiasm.
Oh, no, it was, like I said, I went down there in the morning at 5 o'clock for the first train right before I went to the gym. And there were already people on the platform waiting for the train, and it pulled up and left at 5:05. Everyone was excited. It was, it's just, I wanted to see it, as I always said, I wanted to make sure it was actually had people on it and it was going north. It worked out great, and it was a great day. We had the governor here. The ceremony at 10 was a culmination of so many years and years of work to get that rolling, and it really is something to see. It was a great ride up to Taunton. I mean, I couldn't believe how fast we were there, and it was all of a sudden we were in Taunton. So, I think it's going to be something very special. I think it's going to be something that builds over time. The novelty of it will wear off, and people will start to take it to go to Boston for work and for pleasure events, and it's going to be good. I mean, it's really going to be something, and we just need to make sure we have the right kind of ridership, and people are on it all the time. And the MBTA knows the investment in Fall River is well worth it. I think it's going to be something. It really is. It really was great. I went back that night at 6 o'clock. There was one problem. A woman was on the platform waiting to go to New Bedford, and I told her she had to get off in Taunton when she was coming down to do that, but she had missed it. So I went over and talked to the conductor, and she told me she had called a friend to come get her. I said, okay, but next time I get off in Taunton and take the train to New Bedford. But she had missed it and come all the way to Fall River. We welcomed her, but told her she was in the wrong place. Yeah. Everything went great, and I'm very, very proud of the city of Fall River, all the people that worked for the state that helped us put us together, and I'm sure the residents are going to appreciate all the efforts.
I know one of the things that I was there, I saw you at 5 o'clock on Monday morning. And one of the things that was interesting to hear was why people were there. Obviously, there was a novelty. We want to be on the first train to Boston, and that's all well and good. But there were some stories that came out afterwards that there was, a mother and I believe her son going up to look at schools up in Boston that day, and they just happened to be on that first train. Some people went up, and it was interesting. A gentleman I spoke to, who I was there so early, I was there before anyone. And the first gentleman who was there, he had a big gray sweatshirt, and he was literally the first person on the platform. So of course I had to speak to him. But the interesting thing about him is he was going to go up to Boston, meet up his friends, and come back at 10 o'clock for the opening ceremony. He was already back. And it was just interesting to see him again. And I saw him in East Taunton, but it was just interesting to hear, even on that first day, how people plan to use this. And I think that's really important for people to understand, right?
Right. I think I know the gentleman you're talking about. I ended up talking to him myself, but it's so different for the city of Fall River, and we've waited so long for this opportunity. And I just think it's going to open up the whole South Coast to a whole different group of people. And I think it's going to create a stronger link with us and the capital of Massachusetts. So I don't see a negative in it. You see, obviously, some people have a different opinion, but I think they should let this play out. The money's all been spent. Let's hope it picks up the ridership we want. It's going to be a key piece for that Route 79 project directly across the street. And I did want people to know the difference. When you come onto the platform in Fall River, you can walk next door, get a coffee, get breakfast. There's a pizza place there. And as we develop the waterfront, there'll be more places for people to go. When you get off the train at Taunton, you're in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, this is a little different than we have in Fall River. I think we have the opportunity to pick up some walking traffic and to pick up some people. The MBTA general manager told me he was over at Almax Diner having breakfast, which is what you want. You want people to be able to walk to the train, get on the train, and still be able to do some other things. In Taunton, until they develop the area around it, you're out you're out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing that I found interesting that people may not know is, all the construction on Duval Street that's going to happen and will bring more economic development opportunities, that there is a ramp that gives you access to Pierce Street, which runs just alongside the depot.
Right.
And there you can safely walk to the plaza next door where there's Almax and other things that people may not know, that there's actually a street-wide version. You don't have to go to Duval Street to walk, especially during the construction. So that was important.
I mean, it's right there. It's great. I'm really enthused. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. One final question is, I was on the train at, the 1038 train up to East Taunton. And the thing that struck me, and I'm sure will strike other people as they take the train, is how different they actually see Fall River. And what I mean by that is you leave on the train heading north, and then people may have seen the test trains going over President Avenue, but you're literally on there. And I was looking to the right, and well, there's President Avenue. Then you went by, I believe it was the North Burial Grounds, right? And then Fall River Country Club. You see it from different perspectives that you would never see things before, and I found that interesting. Did you as well?
Well, that all of it was great. But at one point, I don't know if you were looking out the window. It looked like we were almost on top of the Taunton River. The water was right there, and I was like, wow, we're right on the edge of the water here. But and then you're in the woods in Freetown, and all of a sudden you're in Taunton. It's a different ride. It was very, very smooth, very, very quiet. And again, I think it's just going to be a catalyst for change all along the waterfront. Very, very pleased. We want people to understand this is a big, big, big opportunity for the city of Fall River.
Yeah. And as a follow-up, my next topic I want to bring up today, obviously the economic development opportunities that this brings to the city, South Coast Rail, and the eventual completion of the Duval Street reconstruction. There's been a need for a long time in terms of new housing in Fall River. Fall River is one of the communities that actually has a huge need for housing. There are some projects in the pipeline, and we talked about this before, but as part of the housing bill that was passed by the legislature, I believe late last year, there's an opportunity for what's called accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, which will allow individuals that have homes that may have other parts of their property that they can convert to little units that may be available. The city of Fall River already has this in place. I guess talk about what the city has in place, and there are plans by the state that you're concerned about. I guess fill us in on all those. First, what does the city provide right now?
Well, but the city provides an opportunity for people to have what we call in Fall River in-law apartments, which is kind of what these are. There are strict square foot limitations on these ADUs, but Fall River is always, the little apartment above the garage, the split ranch, the raised ranch with the lower level as another apartment. Fall River's always had them. What this state law did was allow, someone to change their garage into a little studio apartment. Fall River, obviously, I thought when they were talking about ADUs, they were going to be used in communities that weren't at their 10% affordability cap to give them another means to get up over the bar. So it would spread out some affordable apartments across the state, but they did it for everybody. So it's going to be a little challenging in some neighborhoods because we really don't have zoning control over it anymore. If someone wants to convert a garage or or a second floor into an apartment, there is some pretty lenient regulations they can follow to get that done. And that was my concern. It's not that we're against people doing that. It's just that we always had a process to do it, which took into account a number of factors that made sure it was safe. It had parking. Those things kind of went by the wayside with this new ADU law.
Yeah. And the concern that you expressed me when we talked about it about a month ago is that, Fall River needs more affordable housing. And the way it was before, the ADUs or the in-law apartments, as you mentioned, tend to be more of those affordable units, where if someone now under the state law wants to convert a garage, they can rent that out at market rate prices, which isn't going to help the affordability here.
No, and it's going to generate more of the drumbeat of we need more affordable housing. That's the issue with these units. And again, I mean, Fall River obviously works closely with the state, and we'll do the best we can to get this done. I am worried about, when I say safety, I mean, is it done? I hope it's all done up to code, the electrical, all the plumbing, everything. But at the same time, I don't know if people are going to be, making these affordable and giving people an opportunity to get a break on rent, or is it going to be another $2,000, $2,500 unit with, I mean, I just don't know. It's kind of got me a little nervous, but we'll see how it plays out. And as I said, Fall River always had these. I mean, every zoning board meeting, there's a couple of, seems like in-law apartments on the agenda. So we were accommodating people, but they kind of gave it carte blanche. So let's see how it plays out.
All right, Mayor, as always, thank you for your time. An historic week here in Fall River. We'll talk again next time. Take care.
Great things, Keith. Great things.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
And thank you for joining us here in FRC Media. Have a great week.